Sunny.
Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but were too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is episode number 545. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. The title of today's show is 9 Things You Will Never Be Sorry You Had Your Dentist Do For You, and Some That You Might. Okay? And before we get started, let me remind you, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko. And if you would please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. All episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com, and we're streaming live on Facebook, so I'll just give a wave to the Facebook friends. All right. Now, I want to remind you that in about 10 minutes, we're going to give away free flowers from DeSantis Florist. They'll be delivered to your place of business this Tuesday afternoon. You might want to pre-program that number into your phone, which is 614-459-9769. It'll be 614-459-9769. Also, I'm looking for a dentist, so if you have at least 3 years of experience, please give me a call, 614-262-9588, or send me an email to bkvitko@aol.com. And by the way, I've been saying this for several weeks, and you're probably wondering why I haven't found one yet. I actually have found one. I'm just looking for another. So it's not like nobody wants to work with Dr. Kvitko. Also, if you are an EFTA, we are looking for an EFTA, and one of my current dental assistants is in EFTA school now, so she'll become one of them, and then we need another. So, okay. So, oftentimes this topic of the show is about what's happened during the week, my previous week at the dental office. And in this case, it's a combination because I was looking in the American Dental Association newsletter, and I saw an article that appeared in a quarterly newsletter for its orthodontics, for the specialty guys. And it was talking about spacing, crowding, irregularity, and all the risk factors for periodontal disease. And I remember going over one of the patients who we were talking about, maybe they should have their teeth straightened, and if they wanted to straighten their teeth. And the question came up about gum disease. Well, I've had gum disease in the past, so can I even have orthodontics? And the answer is yes, and as luck would have it, this article appeared maybe 2 days later just to corroborate that. So basically, this research, and there are 3 different studies that are cited here, and it basically says that it's not only can you do it with people who have periodontal disease, especially if they're brushing and flossing well now, but it's more beneficial. So I've said all along to people who are considering braces that you're going to be healthier afterwards because you can clean your teeth better. Teeth that are crooked, teeth that you can't get the floss through, you can't get the brush in there very well. It's harder to clean. You're going to get cavities, and I can't even tell if the person has decay on my x-rays sometimes because the teeth are overlapped, so I'm getting like a double image, So anyway, so that led me to this topic, which is I almost always say to somebody who's contemplating braces, 6-month smiles, which is what I do. I've never had somebody that was sorry they had their teeth straightened, ever. I've never had somebody come to me and say, hey, can you make them crooked again? I don't really like that. It just doesn't happen. And so that became then the genesis for the title of today's show. So one of the things then that you will never be sorry you had your dentist do or have me do for you is straightening your teeth. We do have people that say, oh, they've been crooked my whole life. That little one there, that's my trademark. But even those people, when they say, you know what, I think I am going to get them straightened, they are so happy. They are so happy. Why didn't I do that years ago? And so I would encourage you, if you have any of the thoughts that say, hey, I wish my smile were better, look into it. Okay, another one. So number one then was getting your teeth straightened as one of the things, one of the 9 things that you'll never be sorry you had your dentist do. Another one is getting your teeth cleaned. It feels good, right? And it's kind of nice to know that, okay, I have all that gunk off of there, that no longer is there plaque and debris and pieces of food and all that bacteria. It just feels good. So getting your teeth cleaned is never a bad thing. Now, I will say that if you waited a long time, and a lot of people do, or have, a cleaning is not just what you need. So we have people all the time, they come in and every tooth is coated with calculus. So we call it calculus, you call it tartar. I'm not sure why. But anyway, it's calcified plaque. That's why we call it calculus. And it's coating the teeth. I mean, literally, I've had to clean off the calculus just to see that the tooth had a filling in some people. Or the calculus is so thick, it's as thick as a tooth. So the tooth is now looks like it's twice as thick as it was, or it really is. And there's just something bad about having all that stuff in your mouth. It gives you bad breath. It collects food easier. It irritates the gums, gives you periodontal disease. So, but if you're one of the people with all of that buildup, and you go and say, I want just a cleaning, and your dentist or your hygienist is saying to you, hey, John, Tina, you need more than a cleaning, don't leave. Don't get upset with them. They're being honest. They're telling you that you have gunk everywhere, and a regular cleaning isn't going to clean this off. You're just fooling yourself. So basically, I guess it would be like, think of the cleaning as above the gum line, and the root planing and curettage as below the gum line. Well, it's the below the gum line stuff that is irritating your tissues, not the stuff above. And so if all we do is like polish the tops and the sides are still all full of gunk, you're no better off. You think you are, but you're no better off. So root planing and curettage is what you actually need. But it's nice that you come and you say, I want my teeth cleaned, and just remember that to get them clean, you're going to want more than just a cleaning if the dentist says you have calculus all over the place. We had a woman come in, and she has had calculus. Has it now. She'd been gone for a lot of years, hadn't gone to a dentist. She's afraid, just like the typical patient that I tend to see. And when we started to take our first x-ray, or when we took our first x-ray, a big chunk of calculus broke off from the inside of the lower front teeth. And it just scared her to death. She started to tear up. She was very upset. She thought that we had somehow broken her tooth or knocked her tooth out with the x-ray. And I was able to show her that wasn't your tooth. Your tooth is fine. Here it is. I took a picture of it. It's just the calculus. And so she felt much better. And now she is actually scheduled for the root planing and curettage that she needs. And so when she leaves the office this Tuesday, every tooth is going to be super, super clean. And she's going to know for the first time in years what it really feels like to have clean teeth. So number 2 then of the things that you'll never be sorry you had your dentist do is getting your teeth cleaned. Okay, the next one, and this one might be open for debate, but let's just say in my experience, you know how there are people like Lauren Hutton that have a space between their front teeth? And there are several others. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger has a space between his front teeth. And it's just something that's genetic. That's the way you were born. It's not because it's nothing's crooked. The teeth are just spaced differently. And so oftentimes with porcelain veneers, sometimes with orthodontics, we can close that gap. And that is the most common one I hear from people about how they say, that's my trademark. I've always had that. I don't think I want it gone. And yet, for those who say, you know what, let's just go ahead and let's go for it. They're always happy. They're always happy. I did one on Monday, I think it was, this last week. And I didn't know. The plan was to close her diastema. She needs a makeover. That's going to include 6 crowns on the front 6 teeth. And for those of you watching on Facebook, I keep looking over and I see that we keep losing the video, so I apologize, but I keep pushing the button and we'll see. But anyway, so she needs 6 crowns. Her budget only allowed for 3 right now. And she's working on getting the financing for the rest, which is cool. We don't want people getting in over their head. We appreciate it when somebody says, hey, I want to pay you, so let's not do more than I can afford. Rather than the people that might come in and say, yeah, let's just do it all, and then when it comes time to pay, they're struggling, right? Nobody's happy then. So anyway, since we were only doing 3 teeth, and she said at the beginning, oh, and by the way, I want my space closed, it was a bit of a challenge because when I close that gap, I have to make all of the teeth in the area, each one has to be a little bit wider in order to close the gap and not make it look like we closed it with just making the two front teeth bigger. If we're not careful, those two front teeth are going to look like chiclets. So I had to make some very serious measurements and took some little check bites, and I figured out that each tooth had to be 0.3 of a millimeter wider than it was. But I was only doing 3 of them. So now I have this place where there's this one that's probably 0.3 wider than it should be until she has me do the other tooth next to it, or the tooth teeth next to it. Then I'm going to have to take the extra 0.3 off of the crown I just made so that I'm leaving 0.3 so this one can be wider. It's pretty tricky, and make sure that you're going to somebody that knows what they're doing. But she called back the next day and said how happy she was. She loved it. And so that just reminded me again, just reinforced that even those front tooth gaps, people typically are happier that they're gone than that they're still there. So I don't know if you've thought about that, but and I had a woman. That's right. I just met her 2 Fridays ago, and she asked me about orthodontics. She has some crooked teeth. She asked me she showed me that she needed a gum graft, and she says, I don't know, I've always been bothered by this, but she goes, I'm 38, I'm married, I have 2 kids. It's not like I'm in the dating scene. I have my life. She goes, is it silly to be thinking that I want straight teeth and I want this area grafted? And I go, not at all. I mean, life's short. Why not be happy? If it makes you happy, do it. I mean, that's why we get fancy shoes, right? That's why we go on a vacation, or we go to a movie, is because we want to be happy. So if every time you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, change it if it's changeable and you can afford it. So we're in the process of working through what her insurance is going to cover and that sort of thing. But remember, I said she needs a graft. Well, one of these studies I was talking about at the beginning also dealt with whether orthodontic care will increase the need for somebody to need grafting later, meaning gum recession. And as it turns out, there is a little bit of a connection, because people ask me, well, how did this happen? Why do I have all this recession? And I'll tell them, well, it's possible. 2 things. You could have been born with, let's say, your dad's teeth and your mom's jaws, so big teeth and small jaws, so not enough room for the teeth. Therefore, there's not as much bone covering them. Therefore, there's not as much blood supply going to the gum, and therefore some of the gum recedes. Or it could just be that if you've had orthodontics, the orthodontist, to make your teeth straight, or me when I'm doing it, could have pushed the teeth out towards your cheeks, and maybe made that bone a little thinner, and so now there's not as much blood supply. So the reality is there's something to that, but it's very minor. Maybe a couple teeth might wind up needing grafting, a millimeter here and a millimeter there. No big deal. Okay. So another one on the list of, I counted that there are 9 things that you will never be sorry you had your dentist do. The next one that I came up with, and by the way, if you have others, feel free to give a call in when it's time. But another would be whitening. Whitening your teeth. We've never had anybody wish their teeth were dark again, Never had anybody say, oh man, I'm so sorry I got my teeth white. What can we do to darken them? And yet you have people that go, I don't know, I don't want my teeth white, I don't want to look like Hollywood. But here's the thing, with teeth whitening, teeth bleaching, we're not coating your teeth with white stuff. We're not painting anything on your teeth. All we're doing is bleaching out the little bits of Cheetos and red wine and red cabbage and carrots and oranges and all of that thing, all of the different natural food colors that absorb into your teeth. Because if you look at your teeth under electron microscope, it looks like a honeycomb. And little bits of all of that stuff get stuck in there. You don't realize it. It's so gradual. You don't even know what's happening. And so all the whitening gel does is it has a lipid, meaning a fat-soluble end, and a water-soluble end. And it kind of gets into that pore, and it grabs onto that little bit of Cheeto, or that little bit of coloration from the Cheeto. And then the other end is water-soluble, so it dissolves in the water. You spit it out. And before you know it, your teeth are white. So anyway, I'm getting the sign that it's time to go to a break. You're listening to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Oh, wait a minute. We have to do we're going to do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, okay, before we do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day, though, we want you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. One winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's Question of the Day.
All right, and you're going to have a chance to win free flowers from DeSantis Florist, all right? The question of the day is, today we are talking about dental procedures you will never regret having done. What are some of them that I have mentioned so far? A, no one has ever been sorry that they had their teeth straightened. B, no one has ever been sorry that they had their teeth cleaned. C, no one has ever been sorry that they had space between their two front teeth closed. Or D, all of the above. All right, the winner's going to receive those free flowers from DeSantis. The number to call is 614-459-9769. That's 614-459-9769. So go ahead and call now.
You won't believe it though. I want to hear your mind. And there's nothing else in the world tonight. She said people don't take the time. Hey, people don't take the time.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko! Let's go!
Hi, this is Richard Simmons. Dr. Kvitko's here, and he's going to help you with all of your problems. Are your teeth yellow? He can fix that. Are you missing a tooth? He can put a new one in. How is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Richard. All right, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's Question of the Day. We have callers on the line, and during the break, we flipped a coin. We came up with line 3, which happens to be June. Hey, June. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling in. So, do you remember what is the answer to Dr. Kvitko's Question of the Day?
D, all the above.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Good. Hey, what do you do for a living?
Right now, I'm unemployed right now.
Oh, gee, I'm looking for an EFTA. Are you an EFTA?
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
What will you do when you get your job?
Well, I hope to work for another credit union or a bank.
Okay. You like counting other people's money, huh?
Right. Sure. I love to play with money. Yeah.
Seems like they're building banks on every corner like they used to build gas stations, so I think you'll have a job in a few hours. Anyway.
Okay.
Thanks, June. Thanks for calling. Hey, stay on the line because we have to get the information where to send you the flowers from DeSantis, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let me hand that back to my producer. Hey, you caught it in midair. Good deal. Okay, so if you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is episode number 545 of The Reasons We Smile. The title of today's show is 9 Things You Will Never Be Sorry You Had Your Dentist Do, and some that you might, and we'll get to those at the very end. So, okay, we've covered getting your teeth clean, getting your teeth straightened, getting them whitened, and closing a diastema, that space between your front teeth. Next one I have down is wisdom teeth. I've never had anybody wish they had their wisdom teeth back. Now, I've had people say, oh man, that was kind of sore. That was more painful than I thought it would be afterwards. Not during, remember, not during. People don't feel it while we're doing it, but afterwards, obviously you have to be on pain pills and antibiotics and all that. But nobody's ever said, man, I wish I had that tooth that was hanging off to the right cheek there, sticking me in the jaw back. Nobody's ever said that. So, when your dentist says, hey, you probably need these wisdom teeth out, or you do need your wisdom teeth out, you'll be glad you did. Okay? Number 6 is getting gum disease corrected. Okay? That's a big one, by the way, because if you can get your gum disease treated, your periodontal disease, you're going to be able to keep your teeth, very likely for a lifetime, with good home care. But if you ignore it, because it doesn't hurt, or you don't see it, or you don't really grasp what's happening, you will lose your teeth. You will lose your teeth. Maybe not all at once, but you're going to lose them. And I've even had people come in, their teeth are so loose that they're almost afraid for us to take an x-ray, afraid for us to take an impression, because they don't want that tooth to fall out right then. And by the way, guess what? If I'm going to make you a temporary partial, because we think these 2 or 3 or 4 front teeth might fall out, I have to get an impression. I have to. I can't make you anything without a mold of your mouth. So there's always that very, very serious angst that goes on in those folks when we're doing those impressions. And so guess what the moral of this story is? It's better to get your gum disease handled before it ever gets that bad, and realize that it's real disease. It is definitely going to impact your life. And don't forget about the connection between heart disease and gum disease, and people can wind up with some very serious heart issues, congestive heart failure to be one, if they let their periodontal disease continue. Okay? So, getting your periodontal disease under control is something you will never regret. A smile makeover. Again, who wants to go back to ugly teeth? Who wants to go back to brown teeth? Who wants to go back to crooked teeth or spaces with around your teeth, right? So even though it can be costly, and that seems to be the biggest issue where people who want one maybe they just can't swing it, but getting the smile that you want is so powerful. It changes your life. I'm telling you, it changes your life. You'll get a better job. You'll get a better boyfriend. I'm serious. I know that sounds petty, and it sounds like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Is petty the word I'm looking for? Yeah. But it just happens, it just happens. And how many women want to date Billy Bob? Somebody who has Billy Bob teeth, right? And I'll tell you that most of my employees are women, just by chance, and I'll every once in a while hear them, like when they're on the dating sites, doing the swiping right or swiping left, their comments tend to be, oh my goodness, look at his teeth, I could never date that, and then they swipe the opposite way, right? So getting a smile makeover, if it's something that you need and want, is something that you will never, ever regret. And if it means getting a loan, get a loan. If it means keeping your old car longer, keep your old car longer than you might have thought you were going to, and take the money and put it towards yourself, improving yourself. And by the way, you know what? My car's a 2006. I bought it in 2011, and I'm still driving it. So you don't need a new car every 2-3 years like some people think, especially if you have other things you'd like to spend the money on. Okay, so the next one that I wrote down here is porcelain veneers. Now that's kind of the same thing as a smile makeover, but it's kind of like a partial. So if you're one of the people, and I guess really in this one I'm not talking about smile makeover, but I'm talking about if you're one of those people whose teeth have all those craze lines in them, and that tends to happen after we're late 50s or 60s and into our 70s, they look like old glass in an old church, all the little craze lines. They're perfectly straight, and you can whiten them all you want, but they still look like they're cracking. They look like they're going to break. And so porcelain veneers can cover those up with a nice whiter shade, make them look like brand new teeth again. And it's not it looks like a smile makeover, but usually it's done with 6 to 8 teeth. And it really looks great. And again, I've never had somebody that did porcelain veneers be sorry that they did. Okay, so now it is time to go to a break, getting that signal. We do have one more to cover, so hang on with me and you'll find out what the 9th one is that you'll never regret. And then we're going to talk about some of the things that you might. I'm Dr. Kvitko, episode number 545 of The Reasons We Smile, and we'll be right back.
You can't take me as I am, not just a little bit. I don't know who to be. I'm a paper cup, baby, of the sea. I know you see it too, 'cause you're too much for me.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko.
Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita.
Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
If you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. It's episode number 545. Thank you so much for joining me all these years. I really appreciate it. It's been about 10 and a half years now. And today we were talking about 9 things you will never be sorry you had your dentist do, and some that you might. We've covered the first 8, and I'll give you a little rundown of what those were in case you are just tuning in. Getting your teeth cleaned, getting your teeth straightened, getting them whitened, closing a space between your front teeth, having your wisdom teeth out, getting your gum disease under control, a smile makeover, porcelain veneers, and the 9th one, the final one for today's show, is getting an implant. I've never, ever had an an unhappy implant patient. Everybody loves them. Now, there's all the consternation about getting them, you're drilling a hole in my bone, that sounds scary, and how much are they and all that, and I wish I could keep my own tooth, and so do we. But in those instances where we can't keep your teeth, and you get an implant, I can guarantee you, 100%, you'll be glad you did. Never had an unhappy implant patient. Period. It just doesn't happen. And implants are the state of the art. They never get tooth decay. You can get gum disease around them, so you still have to brush and all that. One of the women that came in this past week, remember I said it's all about my last week, who we had done an implant for probably 3 or 4 years ago in the crown. She goes, that's my favorite tooth. She goes, I feel like I can eat steel with that. She's strong, they don't wiggle. It's just amazing. It's a really cool procedure to do, and I love placing them, I love restoring them, and the people just love them too. So you can't go wrong with an implant. So let's talk about a few things you might be sorry that you had us do, us dentists. An extraction. And what I'm talking about is when people come in and I say, okay, your tooth is savable. I have to do a root canal, then I'll do a big filling, and I'll do a crown. How much is that? $2,500. How much to pull it is the next question from people, right? How much to pull it? And my producer's raising his hand because that's the way he was. And it's like, okay, well, $180. Well, they're thinking, I'm saving money. I'm doing the great thing. I'm going to save money, right? You don't save any money. You actually cost yourself money by having that tooth out, because when you factor in the cost of replacing it with the implant that now you're going to need, or a bridge that now you're going to need, or a partial that now you're going to need, it's always more expensive to have that $180 extraction and then fill in the hole later than it is just to do it right the first time. So I can't tell you how many people I see, yeah, I wish I hadn't had those out. Yeah, I wish I hadn't had that out. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, in my producer's case, it would have been your first extraction, am I right? And so and I think I even mentioned on a previous show that there was a statistic that said, once you lose that first tooth, you're something like 10% more likely to lose more, because it's like, oh, I did it that time, let's do it again. And so I feel like we've saved him from a life of having extractions, and he'll be able to keep his teeth for a lifetime. All of them, the real ones. So, okay. Another would be dentures. Yeah, just give me dentures. Well, dentures are not a very good replacement for real teeth. They're an okay replacement for bald gums, but most people don't walk in with bald gums. They walk in with teeth. And I'm trying to help you by telling you that, hey, partials are better than dentures, saving the teeth are better than that, and we do have there are lots of unhappy denture patients in the world, let's put it that way, who are wearing perfectly good dentures. That's the best we can do. The state of the art on dentures, if you're not using implants to hold them in, it is what it is. It doesn't get better. You better get used to that Fixodent and Polydent and all that crap, because it's just the way it is. So, and then another one is a temporary filling. People say, well, Okay, can't afford the root canal. I understand what you're saying about me keeping my tooth. Can you just do a temporary filling? Well, I can, and I do. But the problem is when people say temporary, they don't really mean temporary. They mean permanent. And then they're trying to go around with this temporary filling, and 5 years later, the tooth's just a rotten mess. So do it right the first time. And then I just noticed it's time to go. And then the last one I'll say is getting a bridge instead of an implant, where you're having to carve down good teeth for no good reason because you thought you couldn't afford an implant when in fact you probably can. Okay, that's all the time I have. Don't forget to send me an email or call me if you're a dentist looking for an associateship. 614-262-9588 is my number. Send me an email to bkavitko@aol.com. That would be the same if you're in EFTA. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's at Dr. Kvitko. And visit my office Facebook page and like us. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates. Remember, all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588, or send an email to speaking@thereasonswesmile.com.